Commission. With me this morning are Commissioners Duffley, Hughes, McKissick, Kimwright, Brawley, and Tucker. Compliance with State Government Ethics Act, I remind members of the Commission of our duty to avoid conflicts of interest and inquire as to whether any member of the Commission has a known conflict with respect to matters coming before us this morning. All right, no conflicts have been identified, so we will proceed with Public Staff Item 1.
Good morning. I'm Jay Lucas with the Public Staff's Energy Division. Item 1 is docket number EGL 20 sub 0. It is an application for a certificate for an electric generator lessor. The Public Staff recommends that the Commission issue the Public Staff's proposed order and issue the requested certificate.
Move approval of staff recommendation.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the Public Staff. Are there questions or discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Lucas. All right, Public Staff Item 2.
Good morning. Good morning, David Williamson with the Energy Division. Item 2 are applications filed by Duke Energy Progress and Duke Energy Carolinas to modify their residential energy assessment programs, also known as the Home Energy House Call program. The proposed modifications are designed to improve the cost effectiveness of the programs by requiring the direct installation of measures during the in-person auditing process and by adding 3 new virtual options for renters of single-family residences and for owners and renters of townhomes, condominiums, and manufactured housing. As the company stated in the applications, owners of single-family homes are not eligible to participate in the virtual audit options proposed in these modification requests. Public Staff has reviewed the company's proposed modifications and in its comments suggested that the Public Staff suggested the Commission require the companies to reevaluate the cost effectiveness of the program, with all residential customers being eligible for virtual audits if the proposed DSMEE mechanism revisions to avoided costs were to be approved. In light of the Commission's May 22nd, 2024 order approving the new DSMEE cost recovery mechanism, which includes proposed changes to the avoided costs, the companies have agreed to the Public Staff's recommendation. As such, the Public Staff recommends that the Commission approve the company's proposed modification requests as filed.
I'm gonna move it first and then.
Move staff recommendation.
All right, so moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the Public Staff. Got a question from Commissioner Duffley.
Yeah, could you further explain the public staff's position with respect to your request for reevaluating the cost effectiveness of this program and having all residential customers go through the virtual home assessment? Are you in that, are you getting rid of the in-person audits for the single-family residential homes?
No, ma'am. So currently the recommendation is to, because single-family homeowners are ineligible for the virtual audit, so the recommendation is more to allow that opportunity for those single-family homeowners. They would still be eligible for the in-person.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
All right, any additional questions or discussion? All right, all in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Williamson.
Thank you.
Public Staff Item 3.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Tommy Williamson with the Energy Division. Item 3 is an application by Dominion Energy North Carolina for closure of the Phase 7 Residential Efficient Products Marketplace Program. Public Staff has reviewed the application and recommends approval of the company's request as filed. Thank you.
Move approval of staff recommendation.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the Public Staff. Are there questions or discussion on that motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Williamson. We will move to Public Staff Item 4.
Good morning. My name is Brandon Hunter with the Public Staff Accounting Division. And I have Finch here with me also with the Public Staff Accounting Division. Item 4 is Duke Energy Carolina's annual filing for the existing Demand Side Management Program Rider, or EDPR. Docket number E7 subs 487, 828, 1026, 1146, 1214, and 1276. The current EDPR is based on the December 31st, 2023 deferral account balance and is requested to be effective beginning July 1st. The public staff has reviewed the company's calculations, supporting documentation, and data request responses pertaining to the proposed rider, and have found the rider to be reasonable and recommend commission approval.
Move staff recommendation.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. Do we have questions? Commissioner Tucker?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just for my edification here, how much money does that 3 cents a KW generate for the company, and does it cover a true up for the company?
Can you explain the true up for the company? What do you mean by that?
What I mean by true up, is that what you asked me?
Yeah,
Well, covering the cost for Duke.
but yeah, so these are annual rider. So they, I believe it's Senate Bill 3, separate the DSME program.
Correct.
So the one before that, they still have participant. So the cost right now, I think is a combination. You could have some related to the capital, but I had to check like whether, but most likely it will be the the administrative, like the O&M type of thing. But if there's any depreciation for the program over time, see, James is come to answer.
Okay, so you're saying that it goes back to Senate Bill 3 in 2007, just the same
I believe
procurement, right?
before that, right?
Commissioner Tucker, James, and members of the commission, James McClawhorn with the Energy Division. I think I'm here because I'm the only one in the room old enough to
No, you're not either.
to remember why this is a matter before the commission. So in the very first docket that's listed here, sub 487, that was a Duke, well, at the time it was Duke Power Company rate case in, I believe, 1991 or 92. And that was before there was a DSM EE rider. So the commission allowed Duke to create a deferred account to, and I'm not an accountant, so I might not use the right terminology, Finch, but they were booking the costs of their energy efficiency and DSM programs in an account for later recovery. And so Finch is right. At the time of Senate Bill 3, the company had to separate those pre-existing DSM costs from the new energy efficiency going forward as a result of Senate Bill 3. But they already had this rider in place even before that. It was for recovery of those costs that had been booked to this deferred account. So these are all like legacy costs from several years, many years ago.
Okay,
And they were just working that balance down over time.
okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, any additional questions? Commissioner Duffy?
So, do you guys know what the balance on these deferred accounts are? How many more years will the company be recovering for these programs?
Let me say it this way, because these still have customer participant. So it won't like, unless they are all stop participating, then you won't have costs like after a period of time, after finishing the participation, then you may stop it. But because current customers still, I believe is mainly wholesale, the standby credit and the other one. So it's mainly the wholesale customer. So as long as they continue, I believe the cost will continue. So this chew up all the rate because they put it in the base rate first and then they chew up. So it just like continue to cover until the program go away.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Yeah.
All right, any additional questions? All right, all in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. All right, we will move to public staff item 5. Thank you, Mr. McLaughlin, for your explanation.
I might be needed on the.
Okay,
next
just go ahead and stay there.
here.
Item 5 is DEC's annual filing for bulk power marketing or BPM true up rider and BPM prospective rider. The riders are for flowback of BPM net revenues and non-firm point-to-point transmission revenues to the customers. The company requested the rates to be effective for the period July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. The public staff has reviewed the company's BPM calculations, supporting documentation, and data request responses pertaining to the proposed riders and have found the proposed riders to be reasonable and recommend commission approval.
Move approval of staff recommendation.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. Any questions or discussion? All right, I'll ask one, Mr. McLaughlin, since we've got you up there. You want to give us the background on this BPM rider?
Okay, again, many years ago, Duke Power, I think it was still Duke Power at the time. It may have been Duke Energy, but certainly before the merger with Progress. They were making sales out of some of their legacy coal plants and other generating facilities like wholesale sales, economy sales. And this rider was to allow for a sharing of the profits out of those sales with their customers. So that's why it's referred to as bulk power marketing. It was sales to the bulk power energy sector. The non-firm point-to-point transmission was grouped with it. It was for use of the company's transmission system by third parties for non-firm economy sales, and it was to share profits again with that back to their customers. There was a sharing between the company and the shareholders.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McLaughlin. Any additional questions for public staff? All right, we've got a motion that's been seconded to approve the item as recommended by the public staff. All in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you
I
all.
think I'm done now.
All right, public staff item 6.
Good morning, Fans Down with Public Staff Accounting. Item 6 is the approval request by DENC and Dominion Energy South Carolina for a revised services agreement. They filed the application on April 10, 2024 in docket number E-22 sub 563. The current agreement expired on April 18, 2024. On April 15, 2024, at the company's request, the commission approved the interim authority to allow the company to operate under the current agreement. On May 29, 2024, the company requested to change the effective term from 3 years to 5 years to align with the Virginia Commission's approval. The public staff has now completed its review on the application filings and recommend the commission to approve the request subject to conditions set forth in the proposed order.
Move approval of staff recommendation.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. Questions or discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Song. All right, commission has before us our minutes from the May 28th staff conference for approval. Take a motion. All right, it's been moved and seconded that the minutes be approved. Any questions or discussion? All right, all in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, those minutes are approved. All right, we've got some introductions this morning. Mr. McLaughlin, we'll start with you.
Chair Mitchell, members of the commission, I'd like to introduce two new engineers with the Energy Division. To my left is Caleb Hill. He's been with us 2 or 3 weeks now, but it's the first opportunity we've had to introduce him to the commission. Caleb is working with Mr. Metz in the operations and planning section, and he came to us. He had worked for a short time with DEQ. And really interesting part about Caleb, he is originally from Kalispell, Montana. And I don't know, I haven't done a comprehensive search, but he may be the first member of the public staff or the commission that hails from the state of Montana. I'm not sure, but he's a graduate of Montana State University. And to my right is Eric Fernandez, and this is actually his first day on the job, so he gets to come down. And he will be working in the rates and energy services section with Jay Lucas and David Williamson and Tommy Williamson. And Eric is a recent graduate of NC State.
Well, thank you, Mr. McLaughlin, and welcome, gentlemen. We are happy to meet you and glad that you have made the decision to become part of this team. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Silber.
Good morning, Chair Mitchell and Commissioners. I'm Frida Hilburn, Director of the Operations Division. This is a happy day for me. I have 2 new staff members to introduce you to today. They both began work last Monday, June 3rd. So I'm going to start with, on my left, Sarah Fitzpatrick. Sarah comes to us from NARUC. She previously worked as a technical and policy advisor from July of 2022 to May of 2024. While she was at NARUC, she worked on transmission and energy storage matters and was dedicated to delivering training and resources to the NARUC members. She led the NARUC side of the Federal State Task Force on Electric Transmission. She administered the Transmission State Working Group, and she also administered the National Council on Electricity Policy. So many of you may have already met Sarah during her time with NARUC. Prior to her work with NARUC, she participated in a summer internship program with FERC. And that was from May of 2021 to July of 2021. And then prior to that, she was a biologist in Washington State for approximately 4 years. She graduated from Duke University Sanford School of Public Policy in 2022 with a Master's of Public Policy. Her master's project was on improving voluntary interstate electricity transmission planning. She also graduated from the University of Chicago in 2016 with a BS in environmental science. So we are very, very happy to have Sarah with us, and we look forward to her contributions to our team. And Sarah will report to Nathan, and we'll work on all kinds of transmission matters and just all types of work, but she definitely comes with that transmission experience. So welcome, Sarah. Right. And then on my right, we have Whaley Jin. And Whaley is going to fill the position of a Public Utilities Regulatory Analyst 1. And I am so excited to say she has a Bachelor of Science in Accounting. I have finally found an accountant to come work with us. Purnima, Jenny, and I are so excited. She graduated from North Carolina State University in May of 2024. And while she was at NC State, she was an internal auditor intern with the North Carolina Office of State Budget and Management. And she also served as a tutor while she was at NC State at the Accounting Tutoring Center. She also graduated from Fudan University in Shanghai, China in July 2005 with a Bachelor of Literature, English Language, and Literature. Prior to her schooling at NC State, she took a brief reprieve from the workforce and stayed home with her young children, but now she's returning to us. And prior to that, she was an assistant legal counsel in China for the Adidas company, Adidas Greater China head office. And while she was there for approximately 6 years, she drafted, reviewed, and translated bilingual legal documents of various types. She also provided legal support on a daily basis related to business operations for various departments such as finance, retail, and operations. And then prior to that, for about 2 years, she was a senior consultant in Visas Group, Inc. in Shanghai. And Whaley will report to Purnima, and we're just so excited to have her. So welcome, Whaley.
All right, well, thank you, Ms. Hilburn. Whaley and Sarah, we have waited a long time for you to get here, but I think it's going to be worth the wait. We could not be happier to have both of you joining us. And I assume that you already have lots of assignments and you're hard at work on all of them because we have a lot for you to do. But thank you, Frida, for making these introductions, and thanks to the two of you for your willingness to work with us. We look forward to getting to know you and working with you for years to come. So thank you. Go ahead, Commissioner McKissick.
It's not dealing with this particular panel, so I'll wait till this panel steps in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But we do welcome you all. I'm sure that I know we've had a chance to work with Sarah in the past, and she's been excellent when she was working with NARUC. So we're very fortunate to have her now as a part of the commission. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Right.
All right. Any additional business for the commission? Go ahead, Commissioner McKissick.
Yes, I just want to thank all of you that attended CRUC's conference up in Asheville last week. I see many in the audience who were able to make that trip up to Asheville, as well as many of our commissioners and staff who were there. In particular, I wanted to extend special thanks to Freda and Ann, John, and Melissa, as well as Maribel and Brandy. Brandy's worked with us on getting CLE certification for the conference. It did not come through quite in advance of the conference, but those of you who attended the conference who need CLE credits, they will be available. So I bring that to your attention now. I think the conference was an overwhelming success. Overall, I mean, we came up with a theme which was empowering the Southeast, navigating low growth, resiliency, and affordability. We focused a lot of attention on those areas. We were fortunate to get some great keynote speakers, including Governor Cooper, Lynn Good, CEO of Duke Energy, Chair Willie Phillips of FERC, as well as FERC Commissioner Mark Christie, Jim Carr, CEO of Southern Gas, as well as the regional administrator for EPA. We had about 8 different breakout sessions. I think we had some wonderful panelists that were part of those breakout sessions, and I've received very favorable responses from those who attended the breakout sessions. So I want to thank all of those who helped in identifying those panelists, likewise those who moderated over some of those panels as well. And I think the venue of Asheville ended up being an excellent choice. We ended up with record registrations for the conference, over 330 people registered in advance. It was probably an increase of over about 100 people from what we have traditionally seen at other CRUC conferences. And I think the experience of being in downtown Asheville, we weren't at the Grove Park Inn, but I think the Renaissance served us well as well. And we didn't go out to Biltmore Deer Park for our President's Dinner, but I think the venue that was selected enabled us to have a wonderful experience at 1/3 of the cost. So that's always a good thing. We can leave an organization with a far better budget than it was when you came in. So for all of you that participated, to all of you that joined us, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. It ended up being a wonderful experience, content-wise, and likewise in terms of being in a community which is very inviting. And I think many from outside of North Carolina would not come to Asheville in the past have decided they want to return for at least a brief visit. Thank you.
All right, any additional business before we adjourn? All right, hearing none, we'll be adjourned. Thank you very much. Let's go off the record, please.